At the International War Crimes Division of High Court in Kampala, the former Guantanamo Bay detainee was facing 3 charges: soliciting support for terrorist organization, Allied Democratic Forces ADF, rendering support to terrorist organization, and belonging or professing to belong to ADF. Of the 3 charges, Judge Suzan Magara found Jamal Kiyemba guilty of 1 count of soliciting support for terrorist organization, Allied Democratic Forces ADF. Court based its ruling on the prosecution presented witness from the 8 witnesses that prosecution used to prove all the ingredients in this case. Judge Suzan Magara, however, acquitted Jamal Kiyemba of the charge of rendering support and belonging or professing to belong to the terrorist organization. The court ruled that prosecution failed to prove those offences beyond reasonable doubt. It further held that the relevant legal provisions laid up by the prosecution was inapplicable to the facts of the case. Jamal Kiyemba was arrested on 29th January 2022 at Old Kampala Tax Park in Kampala after allegedly standing in a public place and shouting, "Long live ADF, long live ADF, ADF we wangale," and declaring that if civilians do not support ADF and if the government did not engage the group in dialogue, there would be bloodshed in the city. During the trial, Jamal Kiyemba raised the insanity's defense, claiming to suffer from bipolar. However, the court rejected the defense after finding that the evidence demonstrated that he was capable of making rational judgments and undertook the nature and consequences and actions at the time of the offense. Jamal Kiyemba, who has been on remand throughout the trial, was further remanded to Luzira Government Prison until 31st July 2026, when court is expected to deliver its sentence. Under the law, the offense of soliciting support for a terrorist organization carries a maximum penalty of 10 years imprisonment or a fine of 10 million or both. Meanwhile, court assessors in Suzan Magara case have advised Judge Alex Ajiji to convict the 9 suspects after concluding that the prosecution has proved all the ingredients regarding offences leveled against the accused.
In regards to their witnesses, some of their testimonies we found them to be lies. This was evident when the mother of A1 A7 denied her son's photo. In our view, my lord, we have found that the prosecution case overweights the accused's defense. Therefore, we advise this honorable court to find both the 9 accused persons guilty and convict them.
The accused persons in the murder of Suzan Magara include Buvumbo Musa Abbas, Yakubu Byansi, Nakandi Hajara, Chewali Abubeka, Yusuf Lubega, Waswa Hussein, Kato Hassan Miro, and Sali Muzamin, Deborah Namamonde. Viola Nance, Subuga, UBC News.